Welcome back to the Navy Sports Magazine. Time to shine the light on Navy women's tennis with Coach Keith Puryear. First of all, proud UMBC grad. Going to be happy. You and Allie probably rooting on those Retrievers extra hard in that game against
Yes,
Virginia.
indeed. Yes, indeed.
I guess the question is, as that game got further and further apart and it became more of a reality, you probably understand it as much as anybody, having gone there and being a coach.
Yeah.
Just how extraordinary it is to observe that kind of win by Ryan Odom and his team.
Yeah, I was so ecstatic. Watching the game, I just kept saying, don't blow it, don't blow it, don't blow it, don't blow it. And then as the clock started counting down, I just couldn't believe that we had accomplished something of that magnitude to actually be the first 16 to beat a one, and have it be, my alma mater was. I mean, I was just ecstatic for everybody in the athletic department, all the old, the old heads.
Sure.
Dr. Charles Brown, who's the only athletic director, retired years ago. Kathy Zerlot, people like Steve Levy, who's still
Absolutely.
there, and
No doubt.
Tom Meyer and Gary Walsh. All those guys. Freeman Rabowski, the president. So I just thought about all those guys and just how that it was great to see, but how their way was paved by some of the ones that came before.
And of course, the commitment now with a new building there as
Yeah.
well gives them some good momentum going forward. Speaking of momentum, your team, you all have played a lot of tennis
Yeah.
since February 1. I was
Yeah.
going back and looking at some of the matches, and that's obviously by design because, you have 16 players in the program. You try to get action for all of them, but how have they handled that and done it fairly successfully here as well? You've all been on a really good run here,
Yeah,
especially
yeah.
since February 1.
Yeah, just believing us and I think sticking with the process. We said early on that we really weren't going to be overly concerned with wins or losses. Yes, we want to win, but that takes care of itself, and you really have to do the work, and you have to do the little things behind the scenes that'll help get you the wins. And even though early in the year, I don't say struggle, we had a couple tough matches that we
Mhm.
lost, but just kept believing in what we were trying to instill in them, and then believing in one another, and just working really hard. And they've been doing a great job of really just mending and bonding together as a team.
You've got a unique circumstance. I mean, this program's still only in its ninth year overall. You're going up against obviously more established programs, especially particularly within your own league. But as you've been able to put this thing together, how have you seen the product grow and obviously made the progress that you all have? Because when you're playing against good people, sometimes it's hard to catch up to those
Yeah,
folks, and you
yeah.
guys have been able to do that.
Yeah, a lot of hard work. Just a lot of hard work, and I think both on our end, but also on the players' end. I think we work hard every single day. We do have some tools at some of the other schools that we compete against. Don't and one of them being the BSC, where we've got an indoor facility. We know we're going to get in good reps every single day. That's huge, and just a commitment from the administration that to give us the things that we need to do in order to get out there, get the players in, and then once you get the players in, just really helping them to improve. And I think that's been the key.
You talk about in all the different sports, and I wanted to talk about that facility for a moment, the Tosei Family Tennis Center. How much of a difference does that make when, you bring a prospective student athlete in and they have an opportunity to see that and know that they are going to have every opportunity, provided they want to put in the effort,
Yeah.
to maximize, their
Yeah.
skill set here.
Yeah, their eyes light up. You can see when you bring them in, and we normally bring them in, and we bring them in on the top level, and they look across all six courts, and they look up at the ceiling, they see how high the ceiling is. I mean, it's an immense facility, and we might not have some of the bells and whistles that some of the bigger schools have, but in terms of just a school our size, second to none, second to none. And so that's a huge recruiting tool for us, and we're starting to reap the benefits.
Yeah, you got the-
Just the players that we've been able to secure.
Got the good roof, so that means good lob shots are
Yes,
definitely
indeed. Number
in
one.
play. That's right.
Tell her.
Good lob shots are in play. I want to talk about one of your seniors for a minute, Amanda Keller. And for any program, your older players, whether they're playing number one or wherever, they have to be a tone setter for you. And she's won an awful lot of matches here in both capacities. But what tone does she and the other upperclassmen in your program set for you on a daily basis? Because that leadership is so strong here.
Yeah. I think probably the biggest thing is her work ethic. She, in 4 years, she's never had a bad practice. She's always there for lifting and for running, and just she really sets the standard with that regard. Any little things, if somebody wants to have her do extra, she's always willing to do extra, and so she does those little things. Even though she's the number one, it doesn't matter whether it's the last player on the team or it's the second player on the team. She will play and hit with anyone, and she will do whatever she needs to do to help her teammates get better. And I think that's one of the standards that she brings to her team.
Obviously, she's already the all-time career doubles leader here, but as you've seen her develop, and I know it's that work ethic is so important, but you know, is the best part maybe seeing the response of the other players to her? Because other players can lead verbally,
Mm-hmm.
but it's that work ethic and people seeing that work ethic and then responding to it. To me, is really the truest sign of leadership.
Mm-hmm. Very, very true. And with her, I have to give her credit because I have so much respect for her. She's on the cusp of potentially breaking just about every single major record that we have. But she's done it. She's the only player in the almost 30 years that I've been coaching who's played number one 3 years in a row.
Wow.
And so the person whose record she's close to, who she broke in doubles and is close to breaking in singles and overall, she played four, and then she played three, and then she played two, and she played one. And so every single time out, Amanda is playing the other team's best player, and she gives it her all every single match. And I think that's one of the things her teammates see. It doesn't matter, who we're playing. It doesn't matter if we're playing a nationally ranked team or, we're playing a good local team. Every single match out, she's going up against the other team's number one player, and she gives them everything they can handle. And I think that really permeates throughout the rest of the players in terms of we can beat anyone, we can play with anyone.
Great opportunity this week for your team, 11 a.m. Saturday, Brigade Sports Complex with Army coming to town. Do you have to kind of get them to temper the enthusiasm during the week? They know what's at stake because you want to make sure they are peaking on Saturday morning when this gets underway.
Yeah, I think they have so many other things to keep them occupied during the week that it's a good way to sort of just defray that that enthusiasm until I think Friday it'll be amped up and we're going to be ready. It's going to be a extremely competitive match as it always is. Army's got a really good and solid program. He's got a couple of really good freshmen that he's brought in, and it's going to be a humdinger.
Sport of tennis has given you obviously a way to really make a life, and you've been able now to pack and mentor student athletes through your career. But in your observation of tennis, who are some people that you've observed and you've liked watching play tennis and in your enjoyment? Because obviously this is a sport that I know means an awful lot to you.
I'm just a tennis junkie. If you come in my house, my wife will tell you, you'll see me sitting down in front of the TV watching Tennis Channel. So I love watching the pros. I like watching college tennis, and actually I get enjoyment even when I'm recruiting and just going out sometimes and somebody that I'm not even recruiting, just going and just watching them just for the sheer enjoyment, of doing so. So in terms of pros, Roger Federer is one of my favorites. Both the Williams sisters. Wow, everyone, Djokovic.
Well, you know the sport. To see what Venus and Serena have done from where it started for them, and to see, I mean, I believe Serena, I looked the other day, somewhere in the neighborhood of $84 million that she has earned just from tennis. It doesn't count her endorsements and all that other stuff.
Yep.
Just extraordinary.
Yeah.
Just extraordinary to see how far they've come in the sport, and then but to be that consistently good at for a long time, that's so hard.
Yeah. And, to see it on the ground level where you see them when they started and you see where they are now and you see them go through the whole process of being the young upstart and then going to the, potentially being seen as one of the greatest of all time has been a real process. And we've got a young man right now who I watched him grow up from the time he was a little kid just nearby College Park, Francis Tiafoe.
Tiafoe, yeah. Just won his first title.
Mm-hmm. And just to see him, I remember going up to College Park, and you would see him running around, and he's, sort of scrounging court time from whoever would hit with him. He would hit with anyone, and everybody's, oh, yeah, that's just Francis. And now to see him take that love of tennis and sort of have it now morph where now he's able to take care of his family. He's now moved away from us, so he's no longer in Maryland. He's moved down to Florida, and just to see him go through that whole process, it's really heartwarming, to see that.